Hello and welcome to this lecture, and in this lecture we will finally go ahead and try to run this application and see how this thing actually works. So let's go ahead, let me just save the code once and let me run this application on my device so that we'll be able to see if this thing actually works. So I'll also pull up the Firebase database over here. So right now we have the message as my message, which says something like today is a good day. And hopefully this should work fine. Okay, so the app is actually up and running, and let me just go ahead, record my screen. Okay, so as you could see the application on the screen, so let me enter my message as, let's say, hello friends. And when I basically go ahead and click this button, as you could see, the message on the edit text as well as the message on the Firebase database actually changed. So what actually happened is that when I actually entered this message and when I hit the click button, as you could see, let me just save this thing and we'll get back to the code and I'll explain you guys what actually happened over here. So as you could notice, the button click method, what happens here is that the first thing it does is that it basically gets the value from the edit text, then it stores the value into the string, and then the value for the reference is set as the message value. And if you have a look at myref, which is our reference, it's actually set to the my message, so the value of my message eventually changes. And what happens is that when the value changes, as we have added the value listener to that particular reference, which is myref, so what this value event listener actually does is that it keeps on listening to the values of myref, and as soon as it finds out that the value of myref actually changed, it's actually going to execute this method, which is onDataChange method. And if you could notice, the onDataChange method, what we have done here is that we got the snapshot of the changed value and we stored that value in the value string variable, and then eventually we had a reference to the text view, which is the text view in our user interface, and we have set its value to the value which is captured from the data snapshot. So what happens is that the data actually flows from this edit text to Firebase database, and from the Firebase database to this particular text field right here. So this is how the application works. So this is how you could basically go ahead, push some value into the database and retrieve the same value and display it in your application. So this actually works for single value when you have to add only one value to the field. But in the next lecture, what we will do is that we will learn how to add multiple values to your database and how to basically handle insertion of multiple values in your database. Now obviously when you're making real world applications, you won't be having a single value like this. This is just for the sake of example so that you guys will understand. So I've taken it as a simple example, but in reality your application's database structure is going to look much more complex. So from the next lecture onwards, we are going to jump into that complexity and we will learn how the database works with and handles multiple values. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.